Good morning, folks. How about a little update on the sand Muller today? Recently, I haven't really been documenting any of the build process itself because a couple of reasons. One is it's all pretty much basic machining. We've done it before, you've seen it before, and I will go back and cover some stuff if anybody's really interested and has any questions. But I've also reached the point where we're so close to getting this done and I need to get it done and move on to other projects because I'm to the point where I feel like I need that sand Muller. I need it to be running and not to have to worry about it. So still got a fair amount of stuff to do, but we're awful close by the same token. So it's awful close to being running. I've got the new gear for inside the gearbox ordered, and it should be here in the next few days. What I have gotten done on the sand Muller is this is a pulley that I'd cast. This goes on the bottom of the gearbox, comes from the motor to the bottom of the gearbox. So I haven't worked on the tensioner for the motor assembly yet because I think there's probably going to be some pulley changes. So what I'm going to do is we're going to temporarily get it together, get a belt on it, get this one running once we get the new gear in, find out what our speeds are and if we need to change, because I'm trying to run the pulley that's on the motor now, and then this is what I'd set up off of dimensions for the next pulley. So assuming gearing's right, if we've got it right, why I'll go ahead, we'll figure out the tensioner for that, get the thing final painted and be done with it so we can be running it. But this is belts, and this matches this is actually one of the belts that came off the motor. But there's where we set in it. There's the way it's setting in the pulley itself. So I think we've got that pretty well taken care of. I've got my keyway cut, did that on the shaper. We've cut keyways on the shaper before. And then I have tapped it for actually for 3/4 20 set screws. So that will lock it onto the motor shaft. The things I have gotten done is I've got the motor mount built and the plate on there. The plate's way oversized and I'm probably going to have to pull it off and re-drill it depending on how far out I want that motor to actually sit. And there again, we'll make that determination once we get the right pulley combination and everything. Added the little piece of pipe that we can put our handle in to open the drop door, to give us a little bit of support on the drop door, and then made a mounting point for it and a mounting point for the bar that goes across. Otherwise, we've got everything pretty well set into position, and it's about where everything's going to go, so it gives us a pretty good idea. I'm going to put 4x6s underneath it for skids. It was suggested that I used square tubing, so I could just run a pallet jack in it. I don't think that's specifically a good idea because I want that wood for the dampening of it to help that machine not vibrate as much or not bounce around as much. I want something that'll absorb a little bit of that Muller action on there because this is a fairly big machine. So I just feel that will dampen it a little bit more. I'll pick up a 4x6 and some steel to put plates underneath. We'll weld plates onto the bottom of the feet and then bolt them down and probably completely through those 4x6s on final assembly. The height of it, there's enough height for the motor to mount and everything the way it sits. If I put 4x6s underneath it right now, I just got some pieces of 4x6 underneath, so it's propped up. So there's a little bit of clearance between the motor and the ground. So hopefully we've got everything right there, and let's just go out and take a quick look at it. So here's our motor mount down here. We've got it on a pivot the way it sits here. The way this pulley and belt are going to mount will be something very similar to that right there. Once we figure out, like I say, actual pulley sizes, why then we'll probably take this whole motor assembly and we'll shift it inward as far as we can. The original design that Steve Chastain had the motor mounted completely underneath. I don't really feel like there's enough clearance to get around all the chains and everything with a dual sheath pulley. Now what I will probably do if I have to recast this pulley, if this is not the right size, well, I'll probably do a thicker pulley, same way with this one, so that we can run dual belts on it and run the two belts like this. I don't know that it's necessary, but I think if we're building, why we probably will do that. So there's the way the motor will mount. We'll run wires just in tight and up here this back side, and I've got to put a hanger on on the back side of the column here, up here, so that we can hang our cord. I'm going to put a fairly long cord on here so that I can just plug it into any of my outlets no matter where it's sitting. I don't want to have to screw around with running extension cords or anything. So in this shop I'm limited to where I've got outlets, so we'll put a fairly substantial cord on there to kind of take care of any place we decide we're going to mount it. So that's the way the motor's going to go. And if we look at the front side of this for our drop door, what I've done is I'm going to use this for a handle, this old bent up handle. It will go in here just like that so that I've got a little bit of tension. I can pull my handle out, which will actually set right here in this little holder, just like that, to keep it out of the way, and then our drop door will open like that. So that's the way that works, and it goes back together just as easily. That comes out, and then we've got a little holder back down here on this side welded up that goes there to hold our pipe. So that's the way that's going to go. And about the only other thing I've got to do on that from the mechanical standpoint is I have to build my little drop chute that comes out of the bottom of that guides it away and into a bucket or into a wheelbarrow, whatever we put down underneath to catch our sand once it's done. So otherwise, we'll disassemble it. I'll re-grease everything. Anything I haven't greased the main bearer, the main spindle bearing. I think I've got the wheel hub all greased up. So I made my elevation stop down here, just a carriage bolt, 3/8 carriage bolt. Put a couple of flats on either side of it so that a 1/4 inch wrench will fit on there, and there we can set the elevation of our wheel. So plows and everything are initially set. Like I say, for underneath we'll put some plates to bolt down onto our feet, and then we're getting awful close to being done with this mechanically, I hope anyway. So I don't anticipate any other problems. Once I get it everything situated, we run it to set up our motor tensioner and our motor position and everything, then I'll probably strip it all down. We'll get a decent coat of paint on everything, which will wear off from the sand, but at least we'll start off with something that's painted up and looks nice. We've got this much time and effort into it that I want it to be a fairly good looking unit too when we're all said and done. So that's where we're at with it. As always, guys, comment suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below, and thanks for taking the time to watch.